Okay, you see this Hercules? Forget about him. This is the real one. First, let's talk about Hercules' fate. Basically, a king named Eurytus insulted Hercules, which made him muy mad. So, like any other reasonable hero would do in the face of conflict, he killed Eurytus' son. Blah blah blah. Apparently, murder is wrong, so Zeus made him atone by becoming Omphale's slave for a year, or two, or three, and the whole time Hercules is thinking to himself, this is all your fault, Eurytus. Revenge. More murder. As soon as Hercules was freed, he gathered an army and took over Eurytus' city and killed him. Yay for our hero! While Hercules is finishing his capture of the city, he sends a group of captive maidens to Deianira, his wife. And there's an especially beautiful maiden. Ooh la la! The girl's name is Iole, and she was the king's daughter. One of the men who delivered these maidens to Deianira tells her that Hercules is madly in love with Iole. Like any devoted wife in a trusting and loving marriage, she believed him. Now, let's flash back to right after Hercules and Deianira got married. They were at a river, and a centaur named Nessus acted as a ferryman. Deianira was on Centaur Nessus's back, and midstream he was like, "You smell," or something along those lines. I don't know, something horrible enough to make her shriek. In true Hercules fashion, he immediately shot the centaur. Before Nessus died, he told Deianira to take his blood and use it as a charm if Hercules were to ever love a woman more than her. So, now that she believes Hercules is madly in love with Iole, it's obviously time to use that juicy centaur blood. Deianira anointed a robe with the blood and sent it off with a messenger to Hercules. Hercules wore the robe and was in excruciating pain, and in true Hercules fashion, he immediately killed the messenger. He then gets sent home because since he's a demigod or whatever and is invincible, he isn't killed by the blood and instead tortured by the pain. Cool. Anyways, his wife hears about what she did to Hercules and went, and a ooh, but really, she sadly killed herself out of grief, and so did Hercules. He ordered his men to create a pyre and set himself aflame. So, here are 5 tips on how to avoid the tragic fate of Hercules. 1. Have Zeus not be your father. Wow, you have a 1 in a 400 trillion chance of being born, and you just had to have Zeus be your father? Great. Now you've induced the wrath of Hera, who is someone you should not induce the wrath of. Now, throughout your life, she'll continue to try to screw you over. Like that one time she made you kill your wife and your kids? And if Zeus wasn't the father in the first place, you wouldn't be dummy strong and invincible, meaning you'd die faster from your own stupidity instead of prolonging it. 2. Be socially competent or have an IQ of at least 95. Hercules is portrayed as someone very, uh, not bright. If he had any control over his emotions or social grace, he wouldn't have 1. Kill Eurytus' son over an insult, or 2. Blame Eurytus for the fact that he killed his son. At the end of the story, it is Hercules' attack on Eurytus' city that leads to his demise. 3. Marry a woman who trusts you. When you are as socially incompetent, famous, and are on the bad side of Hera just like Hercules is, there are plenty of people out there that will try to sabotage you and ruin your life. If Deianira was more trusting of Hercules or waited to hear his side of the story, she would have instantly believed the man claiming that Hercules was madly in love with Iole and sent that bloody robe that, oops, killed her husband. 4. Do some background checks on your staff. To be fair, this is kind of hard to do, but it would be extremely beneficial to know that the people working with you aren't going to tell your wife you're having an affair when you're not. The works. It would be good to test the loyalty of your men. Also, since you're a demigod, you don't necessarily need a large amount of people to work with you, since, you're practically invincible and are the strongest man on earth. The works. 5. Don't send a group of captive maidens back home. Why was sending a group of beautiful women back to your wife necessary again?